Hello and welcome to Piano Shack with me, Woody. Now, long-time viewers of the channel will know exactly what I mean by an old friend. Yes, of course, we are talking about the magnificent Roland D50 from 1987. Now, you may remember we covered the original D50 about 7 years ago quite extensively on the channel, playing the most famous presets and so on, and now we have the D-05. It's back! I couldn't resist buying this when it came up for sale. Yes, you may remember we featured this quite thoroughly on the channel when the Boutique was released. Also about 6 years ago, because I was able to borrow one for Roland, but now I have my very own. I'm old enough to remember when the D50 was released for the first time, and I vividly recall going to the music store, Eddie Moore's Music in Bournemouth in the UK, 87, just a few weeks after the release, and I kid you not, there was a ring of people surrounding the demo model that they had of the D50 in the storeroom. Yeah, I think there were like 2 or 3 people deep, about 10 people clustered around this synthesizer wanting to hear it for the first time. And back in those days, you didn't go to a music store and just plink away on headphones. No, they featured the hottest synthesizer of the era through a massive PA system in the store. And people were just astonished by the sounds of the D50. Yeah, it was a truly revolutionary instrument. We've never heard anything like it before. You know, those chiffy leads, the breathy pads, the fantasy sounds, and those amazing rhythmic looping sounds like the digital native dance. Yes, it was truly astonishing, and there was a crowd of people just wanting to hear this thing. Of course, it was a very expensive, professional and premium instrument at that time. I was just a broke teenager. I had no money to buy such a thing, and it wasn't until about 30 years later that I got my very first D50 and we shared it here on the channel. Yeah, of course it's the Roland D50. And yes, it was truly wonderful to revisit those sounds. It even brought a tear to my eye, as some of you might remember. Oh, whoa, man, that preset chokes me up. I've got tears in my eyes, honestly, I have. And here then, 6 years ago, Roland re-released, kind of, the D50 in this boutique form factor. It's not using the original circuitry, but it's using some digital behavioral modeling of the circuitry and the algorithms and so on to get a very, very close version of the sound. Well, it's a digital recreation of the sound. This one is using software to emulate the sound of the D50, but it has all of the waveform ROMs for those partial sounds, and to my ears, it does sound almost identical. We did a comparison of this against the original D50, so you can go back in my channel and watch that if you're interested. But it is lovely to get my hands on this Boutique again, and after not having it around for several years, I am very impressed with the feel of this. Just the build quality, it's all metal as far as I can tell. It feels really nice. The buttons are great as well. I do feel that a digital synthesizer like the D50 that didn't have very many physical controls, well, like none apart from the joystick, which we also have here, that kind of synthesizer is ideal for this Boutique form factor because they don't have to cram in hundreds of miniature knobs and faders. I will do a full review on this later on, but just first impressions, yeah, I love the build quality of this. It's a shame we only have half of the screen size that the original had, so digital native dance, for example, shows up on the screen as digital I wish they'd have got rid of these stupid pitch and mod strips, actually, because I have those on my controller keyboard. Get rid of those and put in the proper length screen that we got on the D50. Well, it's too late now, that's never going to happen, so we'll just have to live with this. I notice on the later boutiques, they've ditched these silly strips. Yes, and it has 3.5mm outputs, the mini jack, which feels totally unprofessional, and I cringe every time I connect this up to my audio interface. Although it sounds very good, it does have a few usability issues that are absolutely driving me nuts, but we'll cover that in the review that I'll do later. Okay, during the video you have been hearing some of the most famous and legendary D50 presets once again, because they are all on board here, plus many other expansion cards that were optional accessories for the D50. You could purchase expensive expansion cards that contained I think new samples, but definitely maybe 64 new presets on each card. All of the cards are on board here, and that gave me an idea for a new video. In the future, I'll play you the best D50 sounds that you never heard before. Wonderful dynamics. That was Pizzicago, of course. I can't remember exactly how it goes. A quick word on pricing then. It's quite interesting. This was a limited edition and Roland have discontinued it now, just like all of the boutiques, I believe. And the price of these now is holding up really well. In fact, I think the prices of used D-05s is more than the new price back in the day, which is quite remarkable. Keep in mind that there is also a free, well, it's not free, there's a software version that you can subscribe to on Roland Cloud that has exactly the same sound engine as this. Another really interesting observation that I have is that the price of an original D50 is less than what one of these costs. Yes, you can get the original D50 with a fantastic design, the lovely enclosure, all built in metal, really solid, a fantastic 61 note aftertouch keyboard for less than one of these. I think these are going for about 400 bucks, maybe even 450, whereas you can get a brand new D50 in really nice condition for $300. Of course, you might have to maintain it, and they are getting to the age where the internal componentry, the capacitors, and the chips are unfortunately starting to fail. So be prepared to roll up your sleeves, dig in there with your soldering iron. Or as they say in the States, soldering iron. I never understood that. I believe also the enclosure is made of aluminium. Another video idea I have for this is, does it really have the magic of the D50? Some of you might remember me playing my favourite preset of all time. Who knows what that is? Yes, Soundtrack, of course, programmed, I think, by Eric Pershing. Anyway, I was playing that one on my original D50 synthesizer, and just the sound was so beautiful and emotive. It really did bring tears to my eyes. I was almost crying there when I played that song. And I'm not sure, when I played that preset, I'm not sure if this one does have that magic, the same secret sauce that you get on the D50, the same warmth, richness, lushness, and quality of effects. I don't know, but I'd like to put that to the test. Now, obviously, it wasn't just about the sound that made me so emotional. Maybe I was feeling melancholy for some reason, or just the experience of playing the real D50 after so many years of wanting one. But I'll play the same sound on this one. We'll see if it does have the magic. I'd also like to do some demonstrations of the sound of this together with my new TR-8S drum machine, which has a CR78 emulation. Yeah, one of the very first programmable drum machines. I think the CR78 and this in combination would be rather wonderful. And even playing this in combination with some of my other synthesizers. You may have seen my recent video where I went through my $4,000 synth haul of new and exciting gear to feature here on the channel. So if all of that nonsense sounds interesting to you, then please do consider subscribing. It means a lot to me, and thank you so much if you already have. Well, that's all I had for today. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Cheerio!